Imagine waking up one day at the age of 80, looking into a mirror and realizing you've spent your entire life chasing distractions, scrolling, consuming, existing, but never truly living. You had dreams once. You had potential, but now all that remains is regret. And let me tell you something. Regret is a far heavier burden than discipline ever will be. So I ask you, not gently but urgently, what are you doing with your life? Life does not reward passivity, it punishes it. There is no neutral state in the human condition. You're either climbing or decaying. To live aimlessly is to betray the very structure of your biology. You are designed to overcome, you are wired to pursue. When you drift through life without purpose, you start to rot psychologically. Anxiety, depression, and nihilism aren't always caused by trauma. They often stem from stagnation. If you don't aim at something meaningful, you'll aim at nothing, and when you aim at nothing, don't be surprised when your life feels hollow. There's a reason people who commit to meaningful responsibility tend to suffer less, even when life is brutally difficult. Your soul needs weight to keep it grounded, so stop floating. Anchor yourself in purpose. We live in an age of indulgence. Every vice is a tap away. Food, lust, dopamine loops. It's all instant and all addictive. But here's a bitter truth. The more you chase comfort, the less comfortable you become. A person who lives only for pleasure is not free. They are enslaved. The pursuit of comfort over character creates weak, bitter people who blame the world for the emptiness they feel inside. Fulfillment doesn't come from escaping discomfort. It comes from walking through it with your head held high. The heroes you admire didn't spend their days avoiding pain. They walked into the fire and came out forged. You must do the same. Otherwise, your life will be one long, quiet compromise. You don't have time to waste. You think you do, but you don't. Every moment spent in apathy is a moment stolen from your own potential. You are dying slowly. Every second is unrecoverable. That's not a poetic metaphor. It's biological truth. If you were more conscious of your mortality, you'd waste far fewer hours. People procrastinate because they think tomorrow will always be available. One day it won't be, and the tragedy is, most people realize this only when it's too late. Don't be one of them. Treat your time like it's sacred, because it is, not because it's fragile, but because it's the only currency you'll never get back. Choose your days wisely. They are the pages of your story. The world tells you that freedom is found in doing whatever you want. That's not freedom, that's chaos. Real freedom comes from responsibility, voluntarily carrying a meaningful burden and refusing to let it break you. If you want your life to matter, attach yourself to something bigger than your comfort zone. Build a family, serve a cause, master a craft, protect something, create something, be someone others can depend on. Responsibility is the cornerstone of identity. Without it, you remain a child in an adult's body, lost, confused, fragile. But when you take on real responsibility, you begin to transform. You gain clarity. You gain strength. You start to feel alive. The path is not easy, but it's sacred. It's the only path that gives your life weight, meaning, and ultimately peace. Would you like me to now write the conclusion, YouTube description, SEO keywords, why you should watch section, and hashtags as we've done in earlier speeches? Life does not reward passivity. It punishes it quietly, consistently, and without mercy. When people wake up every day without a goal, without a direction, they might feel at ease for a while. There's no pressure, no risk of failure, just floating, but that peace is deceptive. It slowly morphs into restlessness, then disillusionment, then despair. Human beings are not made to coast through existence. We are built to strive. Our bodies, our minds, our very spirits are wired for movement, challenge, adaptation, and evolution. When you strip a person of purpose, you don't set them free, you break them. Consider your own mind when you're deeply focused on something meaningful. Time seems to dissolve, the noise in your head goes quiet. You don't feel the need to check your phone, compare yourself to others, or question your worth every 5 minutes. That state, often called flow, is the mind's way of telling you, this is what I'm meant for. It doesn't have to be grand or public or glamorous. It simply has to matter, but to find that, you need to aim. You must decide who you want to become. Without that aim, you wander, and wandering might feel romantic in movies, but in real life, it is the fastest way to waste decades. Think about this. Even your suffering is harder to bear when you don't know what it's for. Pain without purpose becomes unbearable, but when you know why you're enduring discomfort, when you can connect it to a vision that transcends the moment, it becomes bearable, even transformative. That's the difference between someone who suffers meaningfully and someone who suffers mindlessly. The former grows stronger, the latter deteriorates. The world is difficult, yes. It's often unfair, but even in the face of injustice and pain, the individual who chooses to stand to aim at something noble is the one who will rise. Life will knock you down again and again, but drifting gets you nowhere. You have to pick a direction, even if it's imperfect. You refine your aim as you move, not while sitting still. And every day that you don't choose, the world chooses for you. That is not freedom, it's surrender. You weren't built to watch life happen. You were built to shape it, one disciplined step at a time. Pleasure is deceptive when pursued as life's central goal. It promises satisfaction, but delivers emptiness. The modern world is saturated with tools for escape: social media, video games, fast food, pornography, substances, endless entertainment, all engineered to hijack your brain's reward system and keep you numb. The moment you feel a hint of discomfort or boredom, a dopamine-fueled escape is right at your fingertips. But the more you indulge in these quick fixes, the less resilient you become. The mind atrophies when it's never required to struggle. The soul shrinks when it's always chasing the next hit of stimulation. People think the good life is one without pain, but that is a shallow and dangerous illusion. When pleasure becomes the highest pursuit, discipline, growth, and character all begin to erode. The irony is that chasing comfort obsessively leads to greater suffering. Anxiety rises, meaning disappears, and life feels shallow no matter how much you consume. That's because human beings do not derive fulfillment from ease. We thrive in hardship, we find purpose in adversity, and we build identity through sacrifice. You do not feel proud of yourself after a weekend of binge, watching, and overeating. You feel proud when you resist, when you delay gratification, when you conquer your impulses rather than becoming a slave to them. Pleasure is not inherently bad. It can be beautiful and necessary, but it must follow effort. Earned rest is sweet. Deserved reward is powerful. But when you take the reward without the work, it becomes poison. It dulls your senses and your spirit. It teaches you that life is about escaping discomfort rather than transforming it. You begin to fear pain, you avoid challenge, you rationalize mediocrity, and worst of all, you begin to lie to yourself. You pretend that your distractions are your personality. You act as though indulgence is self-care, when in truth it's self-sabotage in disguise. If you look around and feel empty, look at how you're living. Are you running towards something meaningful, or are you constantly running away from responsibility? Do you seek momentary pleasure or enduring purpose? One road makes you weak and hollow, the other makes you whole. You must choose carefully, because the choices you make daily are slowly shaping the person you are becoming, and the life you are building or destroying. Time is not just slipping away, it is being spent. Every second of your life is a transaction. You are trading it for something, whether you realize it or not. The tragedy is that most people are reckless with their time, treating it like an infinite resource, as if they will always have another day, another chance, another tomorrow. But one day, there will be no more tomorrows left. This isn't a dramatic thought, it's a mathematical certainty. The clock is ticking, and you don't get to negotiate with it. You can't pause it, can't rewind it, and once it's gone, it never returns. People waste their time because they misunderstand the value of a single day. They think greatness comes from one extraordinary act, when in truth, it's forged from 1,000 ordinary hours used well. 1 hour used with intention can change the direction of your week. 1 day of committed effort can create a ripple effect that alters your future. But when you live mindlessly, distracted, unfocused, reactive, you give those moments away, not to anything meaningful, but to noise. Time gets eaten by the scroll, the binge, the excuse, the delay. Days blur into weeks, weeks into years, and eventually, you're looking back wondering where it all went. There's a brutal honesty required to confront this. You have to admit that you're not doing everything you could with what you've been given. You have to acknowledge the hours you've wasted, the mornings you've slept through, the potential you've left untapped. This is not to shame you, it's to wake you up. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to stop pretending that procrastination is harmless. It's not, it's quiet destruction. It doesn't scream, it whispers, and it whispers for years until one day you find yourself stuck in a life that doesn't feel like yours anymore. The truth is, your time is your life. You are what you do consistently. If you waste your time, you waste you. But the opposite is also true. When you begin to take your time seriously, even in small doses, you start to build something powerful. You gain momentum. You learn to direct your attention like a weapon. You stop living as if you have forever and start living like today actually matters, because it does. Every day is a page in your story. Write something worth remembering. Responsibility is not a burden to avoid. It is the foundation upon which a meaningful life is built. We live in a culture that often equates freedom with the absence of responsibility, where doing whatever you want, whenever you want, is painted as the ideal life. But that's not freedom, that's chaos. A person who avoids responsibility doesn't find peace, they find confusion. They become unanchored, drifting from one shallow distraction to the next, haunted by a quiet sense of aimlessness they can't quite explain. Deep down, they know they are meant for more, but they haven't yet chosen to carry the weight that leads to becoming more. There is something transformative about choosing to take on a burden voluntarily. When you willingly accept the responsibility to care for your health, your relationships, your work, your community, you change. You become someone others can depend on. You begin to respect yourself because you are doing something hard, something that requires discipline, effort, and courage. That responsibility, whether it's raising a child, building a business, caring for a sick parent, or pursuing a demanding goal, gives your life structure and depth. It shapes your identity. You stop asking, "Who am I?" and start answering with action. Most people try to dodge responsibility because it feels heavy, and it is. But what they don't realize is that not carrying anything at all is even heavier in the long run. A life without responsibility becomes unbearable. It leads to inner emptiness, because without something meaningful to serve or protect, the self begins to collapse inward. You weren't designed to orbit yourself. You were designed to serve something greater, to contribute, to endure, to lift, to lead. The people we admire most in history, in our families, in our communities, are those who bore weight with grace and courage. They didn't look for comfort. They looked for what was necessary. It's important to understand that responsibility doesn't just happen to you. It must be claimed. You have to decide, "I will take ownership of my actions, my time, my impact on others." The moment you make that choice, everything changes. Life doesn't get easier, but it gets clearer. You know why you're waking up. You know what matters. And most importantly, you begin to walk a path that not only builds your strength, but gives your life a profound and unshakable sense of meaning. This entire message is a call to awaken the sleeping potential inside you, a reminder that your life is not some endless rehearsal. You don't get a second run. The moments you waste in distraction and apathy are not harmless. They are the very substance of your life slipping through your fingers. If you continue to drift without purpose, you will arrive somewhere you never intended to be, mentally exhausted, spiritually numb, and filled with regret. But if you choose today to open your eyes to the cost of wasted time, you can still turn the tide. You can still make your life something worthy of being lived with pride. The avoidance of pain, struggle, and responsibility may seem comfortable in the short term, but it comes at the cost of long-term fulfillment. Life's deepest joys do not come from constant pleasure. They come from knowing that you are living rightly, that you are doing what is meaningful even when it's hard. Purpose is forged in fire, not ease. When you chase comfort, you become weak. But when you choose the difficult road, when you discipline your body, your mind, and your spirit, you grow into someone who is capable, courageous, and deeply alive. That is the kind of freedom that lasts, not the freedom from responsibility, but the freedom found within it. You were not put here to merely exist. You were not born to be a passive observer in your own story. Every day you wake up is a chance to write a new chapter, one filled with focus, effort, courage, and meaning. But you have to choose to live deliberately. That means setting your sights on something noble, resisting the distractions that steal your soul, and rising every time you fall. Life will test you. It is supposed to. It's not meant to be easy. It's meant to make you better. And in choosing to shoulder that difficulty with dignity, you begin to uncover the immense power within you. So, do not waste your life. Do not throw away your days as if they are nothing. They are everything. Each moment is a chance to build, to serve, to grow, to love, and to rise. Take your place in the world, not as a spectator, but as a warrior for what is meaningful. Let the world feel your presence. Let your life echo beyond your years. You are more capable than you know, but only if you stop wasting time and start living with intention. Your future self is waiting, watching, and hoping that today is the day you begin. Thank you from the depths of my heart for watching this speech and giving your precious time to a message that truly matters. If even a single word stirred something in you, reminded you of your worth, or reignited your sense of purpose, then this effort has been worthwhile. Your journey matters, your time matters, and your life without question matters. If this speech inspired you or gave you a moment of clarity, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with someone who needs to hear these words. Let's build a community where growth, discipline, and meaning are not just words, but a way of life. Keep striving, keep building, and never forget, your life is a story and you hold the pen. Write something that echoes. Until next time, thank you, take care, and goodbye.